because he has for second-hand use because it has important data. Now, CBI's charge, it claims that Sisodia didn't cooperate in the probe and gave evasive answers when confronted, whereas Manish Sisodia says it can't be the ground for somebody's remand. Remand was granted, then that would be a travesty. But remand now has been granted because prima facie the court has found merit in the demand for a 5-day custody by the CBI. So how did the CBI close in on Arvind Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodia? Here's what CBI sources tell CNN News 18. CBI officials have said that a crucial file which contains details about how the new excise policy was drafted is missing. CBI also has said that the file with signatories to the decision and discussions leading up to the discussion was also missing. Sources say Sisodia couldn't answer about the whereabouts of the file. A bureaucrat who earlier worked in the excise department has reportedly told CBI that instructions to make changes to the draft came from mobile numbers of Manish Sisodia through WhatsApp. CNN News 18 has learned that 18 mobile handsets and 4 SIM cards were used by Manish Sisodia between August and September 2022. In just that span, CBI registered the FIR against Sisodia on the 19th of August 2022. On the same day, officials claim Sisodia changed 3 mobile phones for 1 SIM card. A similar pattern is visible for other mobile numbers as well. What has left the investigative agencies perplexed is the fact that almost all the handsets are missing or destroyed. CBI officials said that Sisodia has been repeatedly asked about these handsets, but they have not received satisfactory answers. Also, ladies and gentlemen, an aide turns approver, Dinesh Arora, who's been called a close associate of Manish Sisodia by the CBI in the FIR, has actually turned approver. Sources said that he has also confirmed that instructions came from Manish Sisodia. The aide turned approver also told the CBI that the exchange and excise policy came informally from Sisodia. These changes were allegedly to benefit new liquor vendors who were allegedly providing quid pro quo benefits to the AAP in return for the license. So let's try and understand this entire flowchart and why he's been arrested. So this is who Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, received kickbacks. You have Arava Gopi Krishna, ex-excise commissioner, says gave favors to licensees. That's the charge against him. C. Arvind, Sisodia's secretary, received the draft from the draft group of ministers report. Dinesh Arora, Sisodia's aide, turned approver, confirmed changes in the excise policy. And of course, Samir Mahindru, who paid Sisodia's aide, he is the owner of Indo Spirit. So these are the people involved. All of them have pointed fingers at Manish Sisodia. Manish Sisodia arrested by the CBI under Section 7 of the Penal Code Act, PC Act, public servants taking bribe. This is at least about 6 months to 5 years imprisonment. Section 477 of the IPC, falsification of accounts, up to 7 years of imprisonment. Section 120B of the Indian Penal Code, criminal conspiracy. Maximum punishment can go up to life imprisonment. Why is it a setback for the Aam Aadmi Party? Sisodia is Kejriwal's trusted lieutenant in charge of 18 portfolios in Delhi. Arrest dents this Kattar Imandar pitch that's been made more so ever since this entire excise policy issue came to the fore. Arrest at a time when Aam Aadmi Party is actually eyeing for a national role and came to power promising clean governance. Is that now absent from the Aam Aadmi Party stable, the erosion of credibility and clean governance? That's a bigger question. But Liquorgate probe explodes. Is Sisodia's P-AAP, PAP, as said by the BJP, caught? Let's go straight into the debate. I've got Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP, with me in studio. We have Manasvi Thapar, lawyer and political analyst, joining us from Ahmedabad. And Miran Chadda Borwankar, former CBI, Western and Southern India. She's also been the Pune City Police Commissioner in the past, if I remember. Miranji, namaste. You've been through a lot of economic offences. Let me ask you, can there be smoke without fire? And can the CBI get 5-day remand if they don't have anything to prove in court?
First of all, I would like our audience to understand that there's a difference between how local police station registers and investigates a case and how Central Bureau of Investigation does so. So the Bureau is very professional and it will not arrest, and especially arrest a political leader, till it has not only oral evidence. You talked about the evidence and the material provided by the approver. but the Bureau will act if it is also supported by documentary evidence. So from all the facts which are coming to our notice through media, the Central Bureau of Investigation has both oral and documentary evidence of the order that they could convince the court for remand, and they could take the remand of a very highly rated political leader.
But Miranji, in the past, the CBI has been infamous for many a slip between the cup and the lip, especially in the 2G case with Andimuttu Raja. What happened with A Raja there? There are other cases too where the CBI has filed a charge sheet, but then at the end hasn't been able to prove the culpability in court. Will this stand the scrutiny of court, test of scrutiny of the law?
So in fact, that's the whole tragedy. If you have followed recently this Pune race person, that Hassan Ali, he died.
Yeah.
The case against him was registered in say 2007. So ultimately, whether the evidence material collected by CBI will definitely prove the case, that's a big question. And therefore, we as citizens must demand immediate trial. And we should not allow the trials to drag. In the Hassan Ali's case, now the person is no more and his co-accused is no more. And in the case, not even, I think only the charges were framed and no trial had begun.
Right.
So if we want the faith of citizens in the criminal justice system, such cases must be taken up for trial on day-to-day basis.
Now, Shehzad Poonawalla, is this all purely politics? Is this vendetta at play? That's another question being asked because of all that the Aam Aadmi Party has said and done to the BJP. Is this a way of getting back at them?
You know, if I may use some Hindi on your show.
Please, anytime.
भ्रष्टाचार के ठेकेदार करे भ्रष्टाचार अपरंपार, पकड़े गए तो अत्याचार और फिर जाकर ये करे दुराचार, यही इनका शिष्टाचार. The fact of the matter is that leave the agencies aside for a moment. They said the same thing about ki no proof against Satyendra Jain, 9 months he's in jail. They said the same thing against Tahir Hussain, he's been in jail. They said the same thing against Vijay Nair, 6 months he's in jail. August 17th, the FIR was registered. If there was absolutely no evidence against Manish Sisodia as claimed by them, he's the most innocent person on earth, then they would have got the FIR quashed. Manasvi is a very competent lawyer, they could have engaged him and he would have gone and got the FIR quashed, unless their implication is that even the courts of this law are governed by a political vendetta where they are trying to target some leaders. That is obviously a ridiculous argument to make. The fact of the matter is that those who started this journey under Anna Hazare and India Against Corruption are today championing corruption, protecting corruption and celebrating corruption under Lalu Prasad Yadav. That's why the only people supporting are Lalu Prasad Yadav and company.
You are a national political party spokesperson, so you can make all these allegations. But the fact of the matter is they have not yet been convicted by the court. They have been charged. They've been charged, they've been arrested, and there is merit when you say that they are still behind bars, but it has not yet been they have not been convicted by the court.
Very good point. But when the IAC in its previous avatar under Anna Hazare, वहाँ पे तो कोई कार्रवाई नहीं हुई थी and they were declaring people corrupt and guilty. All we are saying is that following the same moral standard you set up at that time, today there is the process of law which is initiated. It hasn't been quashed by any court of law. And there are 3 or 4 judgments and orders against Satyendra Jain, saying that he's done hawalabazi, that he's prima facie guilty, the ED charge sheet stands, trial should begin, etc., etc. In that scenario, why aren't you taking the resignation of these 2 people? And thirdly, all I want to ask the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, who also doubles up as a Congress sympathizer, the Congress Party, which time and again says that these are agencies driven by vendetta, is today celebrating the processes against Manish Sisodia. So that means हमारे खिलाफ हो तो गुनेगार, किसी और के खिलाफ हो तो चमत्कार. The fact of the matter is that the Congress too has said that yes, this was more than welcome step against Manish Sisodia. So I think that Manasvi has to now decide, is he on the Congress side today or is he on the Aam Aadmi Party side?
Whatever side he chooses, he has to, it is his freedom, but he has to look at the merits of the case. One of the aspects, Manasvi, that stands out is that the Aam Aadmi Party, when it found corruption in one of the ministers in the Punjab government, they sacked him overnight. But with Satyendra Jain 9 months behind bars and the courts repeatedly saying that prima facie there is evidence of aji-baji, nothing has been said about Satyendra Jain. In fact, there are still repeated clean chits being given to him. What is this compulsion? And why these differential standards? It starts from there and then of course trickles into Manish Sisodia.
Anand, first of all, we need to understand that this is, if reduction of excise is a scam, then in 2018 Uttar Pradesh did 50% reduction in liquor, and in Karnataka in 2019 it was 35% and 30% respectively the reduction was done. In Haryana similarly 25%, in Goa 25%, in Assam 25%. That has been done. If this is a scam, reducing the excise duty is a scam, then definitely that's a scam. Now what comes to on the legal point of it, is it been convicted? Is there a conviction? No. Is the trial started on Manish Sisodia? The answer is no. The reality is, since 2014 what we are seeing is there is a vendetta against opposition leaders, wherein cases are being filed, be it by ED or CBI. They are very good at filing cases, but when it comes to conviction, we don't see any conviction. I would be the first person on your show and in this country to say कोई भी भ्रष्टाचारी देश में free नहीं घूमना चाहिए. He should be behind the bars. But the reality is, the same भ्रष्टाचारीs. For example, Subhendu Adhikari was the biggest Bhrashtachari of West Bengal in 2018, 19 and 20. And in December 2020, when he joined BJP, the same Bhrashtachari became a biggest poster boy of BJP in West Bengal. Similarly, this happened with Narayan Rane in 2017. Till 2017, he was the biggest corrupt person of Maharashtra. But when he joined BJP, he was no more a corrupt person. Now the standards of corruption cannot be two ways. The standard has to be one way. If we are against corruption, we should be standing strong and say on a live debate in the parliament that we will not tolerate corruption, be it people from our party, people outsourced in our party, or people from opposition.
But here
it should be that way. You have to be very transparent and open. If Manish Sisodia is a corrupt person, he should be behind the bars. But when it comes to Subhendu Adhikari, or for example Mukul Roy, who's no more in BJP, or for example Narayan Rane, who's still in BJP, why this yardstick is not the
See that you can question. You can question. No. Why? You can question the BJP for what you allege is their double standard. But what standard is the Aam Aadmi Party showing then? The Aam Aadmi Party came into cognition, came into existence because they said we are not like every other political party. Here you have the health minister of the government, Delhi government, in behind bars for 9 months, no action taken. Today, Manish Sisodia finds himself arrested and in remand for 5-day remand under the CBI serious charge, not as a Shiksha Mantri, but as the Mantri for one of the other 17 portfolios that he holds. But the narrative being spun is that he is the Shiksha Mantri. So the remaining 17 portfolios forgotten, that he was also the person, excise Mantri, and he has taken the call on this, has been glossed over. So you are also playing the same politics and you are doing the same thing. When I say you, the Aam Aadmi Party, what you are alleging the BJP of doing. So how are you any different then?
Anand, I would want, Anand, I would want this game of Aam Aadmi Party to stop, and this can be stopped by BJP themselves. What they should do is, they should complete the trial in 6 months and let the doodh ka doodh and pani ka pani, everything should be in black and white. Let the charge sheet be filed, let the trial be completed in 6 months and come out. If Manish Sisodia or Satyendra Jain are corrupt, let them be behind the bars. No person should be free.
Right.
But what they'll do is, they'll come for a news debate. Their spokesperson would know more information than the ED or CBI would know. Their spokesperson would come on a briefing from the Kamal office and they will give all the briefings which the ED does not even know.
All that is surround sound. See, one minute, Manaspi, let's try to understand this. All that is surround sound. If it was a BJP minister who had changed 18 handsets and 4 SIM cards between August 2021 and September 2022 and had no clue where these SIM cards are, had no clue where the files of his office are, what would have been the Aam Aadmi Party's reaction? Please think about it, but Shehzad Poonawala respond. भाई आप सबको करप्ट कहते हो, जो आप में आ जाता है वो वॉश हो जाता है, वॉशिंग मशीन. तृणमूल कांग्रेस, everybody claims BJP is the eternal washing machine.
First of all, conducting a trial in 6 months is not in the hand or the domain of the government. The government or the agency can only file a charge sheet. The trial period is dependent on the court. But let me come to a larger point. I don't set the standards of who is corrupt, not corrupt as statements made in political arena. We may say A is corrupt, they may say B is corrupt. I don't go by that. I have gone by what the courts of law have observed in a judicial finding. August 2019 finding, Satyendra Jain is a Hawala Baz. August 2022 finding that Satyendra Jain is of a criminal background. 2022 July finding by the court, the trial court, that prima facie ED charge sheet is true and the proceeding should go on. Now in the case of Satyendra Jain, he has not been given relief for so many months. Vijay Nair also similar findings have come out. So I am going purely by these findings, and when these findings have come out, you are still not taking action, you are brazening it out and then saying that we have set the highest moral standards. Thirdly, all I'm asking is that this is not about reduction in excise duty. To simplify this entire scam to that would be a disservice. Here is a report of the Delhi government which expressly said that wholesale should be out of private domain, you give it to private domain. Which expressly said blacklisted and manufacturing companies should not be allowed to come into the sharab trade. You allowed blacklisted and manufacturing companies to come out. Your own government issued a notice in 2021 to one of the blacklisted companies, and thereafter suddenly, for some reason not known to us, you stopped the investigation on that entire company. Why did you do that? That is because the money exchange was taking place. You increased the commission from 2.5% to 12%, where the government suffered huge losses, and the RTI of the Delhi government said 2,500 crore loss took place, and at the same time the sharab mafia made crores and crores of rupees which was being funneled back into the Aam Aadmi party. So the question and the allegations are based on facts. These are things that have been placed in front of a court. Both sides have been heard by a court, and they have rejected bail to you. And therefore, in all humility, you should tell us that if the man has 18 portfolios, who's going to run the government? The other man had 7 portfolios. So therefore, you are now going into a domain where the governance is suffering because you are protecting the corrupt.
That's the charge. 25 portfolios. Who's going to handle these portfolios? That's one part. Miranji, the other challenge is for the investigating agencies. The investigating agencies, at the end of the day, they get beaten on both sides. ढोल की तरह दोनों तरफ से बच जाते हैं. In the past, they've been called cage parrots in previous dispositions. Now the charge of the opposition is they are tools at the hand of the ruling disposition. Is the investigating agency a tool, or is it actually doing its job prima facie based on evidence?
So there is a definite perception all over the country that investigating agencies are being used. There is no doubt about it, and it's high time that that the people in power at the center do something about. If they feel that this perception is incorrect, well, they better do something. And second point I want to make is that there is a difference between changing a policy and a criminal act. One. Two, there is a difference between an irregularity and a criminal act. So the CBI will have to prove that policy change was not a mere irregularity, but it was a criminal act. That kind of proof, in view of the fact that files are missing and mobiles are missing, is a difficult task. Mere relying on an approver or oral evidence shall not be sufficient. So this is a very sensitive case, and I agree with the co-panelist that the trial must finish within 6 months if we want the truth to come out.
Yeah, but in this case, let me ask you, will files be missing? Will details not be there? Will minutes of the meeting not be available if everything was transparent about this policy? Miranji, please tell me. अगर आपने कुछ गड़बड़ नहीं किया तो फाइल कैसे गायब हो गई? अगर सब कुछ पारदर्शिता से हुआ, बिल्कुल ट्रांसपेरेंटली हुआ, तो फिर फाइल कैसे गायब हो गई? डिटेल्स क्यों नहीं है?
But when you have to prove a case in the court of evidence, mere fact that file is missing has a very little value as compared to the original file. Not even the Xerox of the file would be sufficient to pin down the accused. So I would say that missing mobiles and missing files, you can say that they cast an aspersion on the conduct of the minister and other accused, but to prove the case on the basis of just saying in the court that we are not able to get access to the files or the mobiles will hit the
if there is proof of round tripping of money
of prosecution.
If there is proof of quid pro quo, if one of the approvers is able to prove that indeed money was funneled back towards the Aam Aadmi party,
yes, if you are able to get some documentary or electronic evidence, the case will be strong. But that's why I am again and again saying, let's have a trial, fast trial.
Okay.
Let the truth come out.
There is
Even
also
people like me, citizens, we are very interested to know what exactly happened.
There is also the other aspect, the aspect of credibility, political credibility. One is what happens in the court of law in terms of conviction. The other aspect of clean governance and political credibility, because if I remember correctly, there are 8 or 9 members of the Aam Aadmi party somewhere or the other connected across multiple states and regions and different disciplines. who are currently in the throes of charges of corruption. Either they find themselves out of favor, or they find themselves behind bars, or they find themselves charged. Yes.
Look, there are a couple of points I want to address. First of all, as far as the perception of the agency is concerned, is there any chore who said the police is good? Meeraji would know, Miranji would know this better than anybody else. But yes, what is the court's observation? In last 8.5, 9 years, not one observation in so many cases where Chidambaram went and argued, has the court said that this is a caged parrot. And in fact, before 2014, who was the investigation against? SP, BSP, Congress, these kinds of parties. Today also it is against the same parties. So their charitra in power or out of power is to do corruption. Secondly, I want to ask my dear friend Manasvi, the biggest proof of corruption has been given by Arvind Kejriwal. The fact that he went from the new policy back to the old policy, which he himself said had a lot of faults. The fact that even if a policy you considered to be faulty was re-adopted by you is in a sense an admission that the new policy was tailor-made to benefit some sharab mafia people, and you have broken your promises. You gave a mohalle mein, har mohalle mein aapne sharab de diya, हर ठेका वहाँ पे 2-2, 3-3 ठेके दे दिए और वहाँ पर शराब नशा युक्त कर दिया दिल्ली को नशा मुक्त करने के बदले. This has been admitted by you. Your RTI says 2,500 crore rupee loss. So therefore you can't run away from these facts. You gave a huge benefit to them at the time of COVID when the people of Delhi were suffering. You were giving hundreds of crores of waivers and reliefs to these companies even without following the due process which is supposed to be followed in the national capital.
Manasvi, quickly, I have just about 90 seconds left on the show.
Anand, I don't understand. CBI is yet to file a charge sheet. CBI is yet to create a trail of money transfer. But this spokesperson of BJP already knows that hundreds and thousands of crores have a private company have been benefiting out of it. Yet there is investigation which is pending. But these spokesperson already know about it. The reality is about the status of the investigation.
Charge sheet has been filed.
On Manish Sisodia, on the part of Manish Sisodia, on the part of Manish Sisodia, his role that is still pending. Supplementary charge sheets always are filed. You can ask
supplementary charge sheet will be
the former cop.
Supplementary charge sheet
if his role is there, but the reality is
it or is it not true? Is it or is it not true that the government reverted to the old policy at the drop of a hat when they junked it in the first place? Is that or is that not true?
Yeah, this is very important. This is not the first time governments change to older or newer or change the complete policy. Uttar Pradesh did it in past. In 2018, they completely slashed the excise duty to 50%. They have revised it in 2020. This happens in all the governments.
No, but you please understand, Manasvi, when did they change? When did they revert? When did they revert? When Dinesh Arora and Mahindru and these guys got arrested, after that immediately overnight the change happened. The change did not happen because the scenario around us had changed. The other aspect is the people of Delhi were out protesting. For 40 days, women were protesting at Jantar Mantar against this Sharab policy and this Abkari Niti because they said right within the vicinity of our schools and where we are going for a walk, thekas have opened. So this was an issue on ground. And if
the
that led
spokesperson said this
Anand,
was the best
this
policy,
could be,
Anand, and then they reverted back to the old policy. Honestly, you were not in AAP that time. You were in Congress that time. That time, Atishi used to come on Anand's show and say that this is the world's best policy. We have made 1,000 crore profit. And then suddenly overnight, if you were making such a good profit for the state, you went back to the old policy after the corruption cases started, which clearly indicates that at least in public perception.
And how did the RTI then say that there was a loss to the exchequer of nearly 2,500 crore, and that too part of the CNAG audit also pulled out the excise duty policy, if I remember correctly, among other things. So there are a lot of questions that remain, but the burden of proof lies on the prosecution.
Anand,
quickly, 15 seconds. I have to wind up. I have to move on to the next story here.
Anand, at that time, Anand, at that time, Shehzad used to be a normal political analyst, and suddenly he became a BJP spokesperson, though he always had an inclination toward that does not change anything. The reality is, the fact of the matter is, it is yet to be investigated.
Right.
The reality is, the quid pro quo
The
has to be
reality
proved.
is, sir, there is also a huge credibility question that
There
now
is
hangs around the Aam Aadmi party that promised to be a party
Definitely.
different from the remaining other political
the
parties.
perception could be that.
And sir, it's not one. It's many AAP leaders who are currently found to be on the wrong side of the corruption charge or graft charge, and does that dent its aspirations?
That is why I'm asking
can
the trial
Mr.
should end in 6
Kejriwal
months.
absolve himself by saying
Can
I
the
hold no
investigating
portfolio,
authorities
or
complete
does
the
it
trial?
come to his doorstep too? These are all questions that will remain, and there will be politics around it. I have to move on for the moment. Thank you very much, Shehzad. Thank you, Manasvi. Thank you, Miranji. Thank you very, very much. Getting a move on, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 would go down in the history of Punjab for the wrong kind of reasons. Police station Ajnala in district Amritsar overrun by a violent hostile mob of thousands of rioters who were brandishing swords, firearms, lathis and brickbats. This came after an open ultimatum from Amritpal Singh, a self-styled hardliner, a pro-Khalistani donning the garb of a crusader against drugs, who had openly challenged the authority of the state and the police by proclaiming that if his associates were not released within 24 hours, the police will be responsible for the consequences arising thereof. 29 years old, Amritpal Singh is a 10+2 pass out and had a transport business in Dubai and was a modern, clean-shaven young man. He reportedly left this business and came to India and found himself catapulted to a position of remarkable importance, becoming the president of Waris Punjab, the organization. Now, incidentally, the former head of this organization, Deep Sidhu, died in a road accident recently, and his brother has alleged that this was not a case of road accident but a murder. So what is Amritpal's Dubai connection and who is behind his coming to India and of course this meteoric rise in just about 2.5 years? Khalistani separatist Amritpal Singh is suspected to have met some pro-Khalistan entities in Dubai, where he lived before returning to India last year. Intelligence agencies have found the pro-Khalistan entities held multiple meetings over the last 2 years to promote Khalistan among youth in Punjab and other parts of the country. According to sources, there are various terror financing cases in which the NIA is probing Khalistani entities with Dubai links. But so far, agencies have not managed to gather anything on Amritpal, who is working in a company called Sandhu Cargo, which is linked to his close relative in Dubai. Sources further said a 3-page note with details of movements of terror outfits and Khalistani groups has been drafted. These developments related to terror outfits and pro-Khalistani entities in the Middle East are circulated within the probe agencies so far. We got more details on the same on news18.com. Kindly peruse it. There is further information here on the right stand that we share with you. Intel sources claim that Middle East is turning out to be a link between pro-Khalistan outfits, Jammu and Kashmir terrorist groups. Since 2019, Intel agencies have noted increased coordination between terrorist groups from J&K and of course pro-Khalistan outfits. Intel claims that most worrisome is the Middle East, especially Dubai, becoming a central point for a tie-up from where mafias are arranging supply of drugs, arms and ammunition in Punjab. An Intelligence Bureau e-book also hinted at the increasing number of tie-ups between terror outfits and pro-Khalistan entities. The Intel note says that groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Khalistan Liberation Force are getting together more often, trying to devise an altogether different strategy. These groups are smuggling drugs through drones. The Intel book stated that in August 2022, 38 kilograms of heroin was seized in Punjab's Nawan Shahar from a truck coming from Gujarat. The Intel note suggests that Pakistan-based KLF chief Harmeet Singh and Dubai-based drug dealer Jasmeet Singh Hakimzada are running a drug smuggling ring in Punjab to finance terror. And not just that, Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence or ISI has provided weapons, explosives, training and IEDs besides providing operational funds. Furthermore, top intelligence agencies probing the ISI connection with Amritpal Singh add. And agencies claim that Amritpal has taken over this role on behalf of the ISI. The ISI is trying to fill the vacuum of Sikh leadership with Amritpal Singh, who can take up the role of political and religious leader in one person. The move is seen as a long-term strategy to destabilize Punjab yet again. Top intel sources also say that he went to Georgia before coming to India from Dubai. Amritpal's frequent visits to Road, the village of Bhindranwale, is a major concern for intel agencies. Not only his visits, but Amritpal's speeches about freedom and Khalistan is another concern. Recently, the Home Ministry had asked Punjab to keep vigil on his activities, but that perhaps has not been done to the level expected. We got more news coming through. And on to a Right Stand exclusive. Investigations editor Manoj Gupta getting us this news. The top intel sources are telling your channel that major social media push has been given by the ISI through indirect funding to Amritpal Singh from Canada, the United Kingdom and other parts of the world. These social media websites, Facebook and Instagram accounts are uploading thousands of pictures of suppression of Sikhs in India. They are advertised also, and these ads can be seen in Canada, UK and Germany. These ads are designed in such a way that they are only going to the accounts of young Sikhs between 18 to 25 years to try and create a particular perception. So this is again the K agenda, Kashmir agenda, which they are trying to perpetrate here. And what's been practiced there, they're trying to perfect it here. These ads are targeted toward names and surnames like Singh, Kaur and other related Sikh names. These ads are paid and running for almost a year. They are going in direct forms to the target viewer in terms of showing atrocities in the form of selling garments with Sikh atrocities, car accessories. Now, through these social media posts, they are creating millions of dollars for funding and are directly linked to Bhindranwala and linking Bhindranwale with Amritpal Singh. Another interesting point made in the analysis is that these comments in the post are not organic Indian Punjabi comments, but the language, the lehza, dialect suggests that it's coming from Punjab on the other side, the Pak occupied Punjab or Pak region of Punjab. And in another interesting analysis, it's projected that in all ways, Amritpal Singh is projected as Bhindranwale, walking, talking, pagdi on his head. Even the clicked pictures have soul poses like Bhindranwale. So they are trying to bring back these similarities. Now, coming to these eerie similarities between Bhindranwale and Amritpal Singh. Now, Bhindranwale describes Sikhs as a separate qawm. Amritpal Singh openly disdains other religions and tries to again push the same aspect that Sikhi is different. Bhindranwale promoted the idea of Khalistan, Amritpal Singh reminiscent of Bhindranwale. Bhindranwale claimed Sikhs were slaves in independent India. Amritpal Singh wants Sikhs to protest against atrocities and discrimination. Bhindranwale accompanied by gun-toting followers, Amritpal Singh accompanied by armed men 24/7. You could see them holding rifles, swords, etc. even in Ajnala and thereafter, even inside the Golden Temple. Bhindranwale, Indira Gandhi accused of giving him free run. Amritpal Singh, Aam Aadmi Party accused of shielding and yielding to the Khalistanis. Bhindranwale named in FIRs but no action taken. In the case of Amritpal, despite the centre's warning, no action yet. In fact, Shashikant Ji, a former DGP of Punjab, has actually asked this question: why hasn't been arrested? Why hasn't he been arrested yet? In 2017, KPS Gill had also flagged off the Khalistan K elements in Punjab and said these trends are worrying. No, is he being brought in purposely? This is a question. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, keeping the focus in Punjab and also on the current law and order situation. Trouble mounting for the Aam Aadmi Party-led government there in Punjab. Deteriorating law and order situation, another worry for the state government along with these K threats. Two gangsters lodged in Goindwal Sahib Central Jail in Punjab's Taran district were killed in a fight among inmates on Sunday. Both these accused are connected with singer Sidhu Moosewala's murder last year. They are connected to gangs which are involved or coordinated and work together. Goindwal jail itself is a high security jail. Question arises, how did such an incident take place? Mandeep Singh alias Tufan is an accused in the Moosewala murder case and was arrested by the anti-gangster task force. He is said to be a close aide of gangster Jaggu Bhagwanpuria. Mohan Singh alias Manmohan Singh is also an accused in the Moosewala murder case and is believed to have done recce of Sidhu Moosewala's house. He is also a close aide of gangster Jaggu Bhagwanpuria. Now we got more news coming through. Top intelligence sources say that Intel had shared information 2 months ago that these two groups of Lawrence Bishnoi and Jaggu Bhagwanpuria are now fighting with each other. They are no longer working together. They are at loggerheads. And despite the fact that these two groups were now at loggerheads, these two accused were kept in the same jail and barrack. Intel sources say that the Bishnoi gang was upset with Jaggu for leaking information. Agencies are also saying that iron rods had been used in this gang war. According to sources, for the last few days, there has been minor scuffles between the people of Lawrence Bishnoi's gang and also Jaggu Bhagwanpuria's gang. And this enmity led to the clashes which has resulted in the death of two accused. Now, what's happening to the Sidhu Moosewala murder probe is a big aspect because accused, people who are involved in it, they are all dying or they're being neutralized, ladies and gentlemen. It's a serious problem. Let's get a move on here on the right stand. Law and order, bizarre scenes from Punjab to Uttar Pradesh. On Saturday, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath pledged that he will finish the mafia raj in the state. He said, "Mitti mein mila denge." That was his quote. Now, his remark came after the horrific killing of Umesh Pal, who was a prime witness of the 2005 BSP MLA Raju Pal's murder case. And today, on Monday, one accused in the Umesh Pal murder case has been shot dead by the cops in an encounter in Prayagraj. The criminal shot dead is the one who was driving the bike that was used in the murder, and it was caught on CCTV footage. Bizarre CCTV footage there. You can see on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. This happened on Saturday, the CCTV footage. CNN News 18 brought you the footage of the two prime accused in the murder case also. Let's listen in to what the cops had to say.
दिनांक 24 फरवरी 2023 विधायक हत्याकांड का गवाह थे। बर्बर हत्या गाड़ी सवार बदमाशों ने असलाह एवं बम इत्यादि चलाकर की थी। ऐसे शातिर और पेशेवर व्यक्तियों को संरक्षण देने वालों के विरुद्ध भी धारा 120(b) के तहत कार्रवाई की जाएगी। जो लोग भी ऐसे लोगों को पनाह देंगे, संरक्षण देंगे, वो इनके कृत्य में भागीदार होंगे। उत्तर प्रदेश पुलिस सबसे अपील करती है कि अगर कोई भी व्यक्ति आपसे संरक्षण मांगे, जो कि गलत व्यक्ति है, तो इसकी तत्काल सूचना स्थानीय पुलिस को दें। आपका नाम गोपनीय रखा जाएगा।
ये चारों तरफ यहाँ पर जंगल है, ये दिखाने की कोशिश करूंगा। 3 से 4 गोलियां अरबाज को लगी थी, ये जानकारी सबसे बड़ी हमारे पास आ रही है। 3 से 4 गोलियां लगी थी, जिसके बाद वो यहाँ से घायल हुआ और अस्पताल उसको यहाँ से भेजा गया और उसके बाद वो ढेर हो गया। उसको डॉक्टरों ने मृत घोषित कर दिया। ये वही जगह है जहाँ पर पुलिस के आला अधिकारी यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। अब यहाँ पर चारों तरफ जो है यहाँ पर सर्च ऑपरेशन भी चलाया जा रहा है, कहीं और कोई तो नहीं छिपा है। तो इस तरह की कार्रवाई हो रही है। हम चारों तरफ दिखाएंगे कि ये नेहरू पार्क का इलाका कहा जाता है। कभी यहाँ पर जो है अच्छा पार्क हुआ करता था, लेकिन करीब कुछ वर्षों से ये पार्क यहाँ पर बंद हो गया था। एसओजी प्रयागराज यहाँ पर सर्च ऑपरेशन चला रही है और लगातार यहाँ पर जो आला अधिकारी हैं वो यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। यहाँ पर एसीपी मौजूद हैं, सत्येंद्र तिवारी जी मौजूद हैं और भी लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, पुलिसकर्मी मौजूद हैं और यहाँ पर सर्च ऑपरेशन चलाया जा रहा है। कहीं इस जंगलों में कोई और अपराधी तो नहीं छिपा है। ये कार्रवाई लगातार की जा रही है और पुलिस ने छापेमारी की थी, एसटीएफ ने, एसओजी ने और अन्य टीमों ने। उसके बाद से अपराधी प्रयागराज छोड़कर भागने की मंशा बना रहे थे।
So they're now being accounted for. Mitti mein mila denge was a comment that came from the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, and it happened on Saturday in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly. Listen in.
अतीक अहमद के खिलाफ पीड़ित परिवारों ने मुकदमा दर्ज कराया उसके परिवार के खिलाफ। वो समाजवादी पार्टी के द्वारा पोषित माफिया है और उसकी कमर को तोड़ने का काम हमारी सरकार ने किया है। और फिर वो कहती है इसे हाउस में कह रहे हो, इस माफिया को मिट्टी में मिला देंगे। सरकार किसी है गफलत में हो, ये माफिया है, इनको मिट्टी में मिलाने का काम करेंगे। अपराधी आप क्या है? अपराधी दूर कर, अपराधी आप क्या है? ये चीजें नहीं है। अपराधी आप क्या है? नहीं सुनेंगे इनकी बात। तो आप जानते हैं, आपको बहाना चाहिए था। माफिया कोई भी हो, सरकार की 0 टॉलरेंस की नीति है और उन माफियाओं के खिलाफ मिट्टी में मिलाने का काम उनका हमारी सरकार करेगी। पूरी मजबूती के साथ उनसे निपटने का कार्य करेगी, लेकिन चोरी और सीना चोरी दोनों नहीं कर सकता।
Yogi Adityanath, rare that he's so fiery on the floor of the assembly. Usually tries to keep his calm, but they're saying मिट्टी में मिला देंगे, माफिया कोई भी हो, सरकार किसी को बर्दाश्त नहीं करेगी. And the act happening this Monday. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, as America gears up for the presidential polls, Nikki Haley, after throwing in her hat into the presidential race, has clearly sorted out who she thinks is a friend and who she thinks is an enemy of America. India the friend, Pakistan the enemy, Israel the friend, Australia the friend, Japan the friend, China the adversary, Iraq the adversary. Stay with us.
It's also a deeply polarized kind of a state. At least that's what's happening just ahead of the elections. And the Congress certainly has been eyeing the Muslim votes in Karnataka. BJP very shrewdly playing on the missing Maulana Azad picture from the poster. And we were just discussing this a short while back, how despite the damage control being done by the Congress party, the damage has been done. It's given an issue to the BJP, to the opponents, and in fact voices from within the Congress party also come out on how the Congress is pushing of a soft soft Hindutva agenda, despite its defense, is not going to cut much ice and just goes on to show how the Congress party is no different and can forego its legacy only for the sake of a couple of votes.
Congress MP Manish Sisodia has taken a dig at his own party by tweeting a picture of a newspaper article of Congress plenary session, and he said that contribution of Muslim leaders like Maulana Azad has been ignored. He tweeted, and I quote, "The Congress has a pantheon of Muslim leaders who struggled against vociferous tendencies, especially within their community, that led to creation of Pakistan and dedicated themselves to inclusive idea of India. Someone wants to airbrush their contribution from annals of history," unquote. So Congress MP Manish Sisodia has slammed his own party for not including the picture of Maulana Azad in a newspaper ad. And so this controversy has erupted and he has taken a dig at Congress. Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is joining us to give us more details on this. Pallavi, can you tell us the whole matter, the whole controversy that has been erupted on Maulana Azad?
See, there have been several posters which were put up at the plenary session which talks about the Congress's connect with the freedom movement and also the fact that it has a rich legacy unlike the BJP. So the pictures of P.V. Narasimhan Rao, all our former Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, all of them were there. What was conspicuous by his absence was the a picture of Maulana Azad. We understand why Ghulam Nabi Azad has responded to it because he's no longer with the Congress party. But when Manish Sisodia, of course, puts it out, that becomes a little embarrassing for the Congress party. The insinuation which comes in is that the Congress now wants to go on a soft Hindutva agenda and therefore does not want to show its Muslim roots or Muslim legacy. Of course, a clarification comes in from Jairam Ramesh, but that embarrassment has already been placed.
All right, Pallavi, please stay with us. We also have some more information on this story. Now, senior Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has clarified on Twitter, saying, and I quote, "Today an ad released by INC did not carry a photograph of Maulana Azad. It was an inexcusable slip-up. Responsibility for it is being fixed and action will be taken. Meanwhile, this is a most sincere apology from us. He will always remain an iconic and inspiring figure for us and India," unquote. Pallavi, can you tell us more about this clarification that is coming from Jairam Ramesh on this whole controversy?
So, I was just mentioning, I mean, of course, it's an embarrassing situation, and despite the clarification coming in from Jairam Ramesh, I would say to a certain extent the damage has been done, and BJP certainly is going to lap up on this. One, of course, accusing the Congress party of being a false Hindutva agenda party, but more importantly, how opportunistic it is. It decides that it wants to project itself as a party which believes in the freedom movement, has a freedom movement legacy, but is also selective in choosing its legacy.
Right, Pallavi, as you rightly mentioned that the damage has already been done. Ghulam Nabi Azad has tweeted saying that after his exit, Congress, the BJPization of Congress has started. Can you tell us more about this?
I was just mentioning that also a short while back. Ghulam Nabi Azad, as we know, quit the party, and he's accused the party of many things when he quit the party. He accused it of, kind of false narratives, how it is completely not in sync, and how it just chases the BJP's agenda rather than having its own agenda. And that's exactly what he said. And he said that, the absence of Maulana Azad just goes on to show that the Congress no longer wants to associate itself with, the Muslim legacy. And this is something which is essentially wrong with the party.
All right, Pallavi, please stay with us. We have BJP's Tom Vadakan joining us on this story. Sir, good morning. So, sir, Congress did not include the picture of Maulana Azad in an advertisement of its plenary session. How do you see this?
Well, the normal procedure is that the artwork or the design is both shown to Rahul Gandhi and Mrs. Gandhi before it is cleared. No advertisement of the Indian National Congress is cleared unless these artworks are shown to the president, the current Congress president, Sonia ji and Rahul ji. Now, if they have seen it, this is not a slip. This is a deliberate attempt to. You get garner the votes during the election time, and you ignore Muslim leaders. It's unfortunate that the party that claims to be part of the freedom struggle has ignored leaders of that stature. It's unfortunate indeed.
But sir, now senior Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has clarified that it was a slip-up and responsibility for it is being fixed and action will also be taken.
Some scapegoat may be found.
Back on the Right Stand, ladies and gentlemen, with a big Right Stand exclusive coming in from the northeast of our country. Just a week after Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma appealed to the Tiwa population in Moregaon district of Assam to remain rooted in their culture and identity and maintain a safe distance from the trend of religious conversion, as has been seen in recent times, more than 24 families of the district reverted to their roots in a traditional ceremony observed at the court of Goa or the Tiwa king. On the 27th of February, the ceremony was held in the Mortan village en route to Karbi Anglong from Nelly in Middle Assam. In another event held in the court of the Goa Raja, the titular king of the Goa kingdom and the Tiwa community of Moregaon, 43 members of 11 families who had embraced Christianity were ceremonially accepted into Hinduism at a religious function organized in accordance with the Tiwa tradition, spearheaded by the Cultural Council. These people were sanctified, reconverted into Hinduism. Offerings were given to please the gods, and the Doloi did the cleansing part.
মুঠ সদস্যৰ সংখ্যা হৈছে 43 জন। আজি তেখেতসকলৰ খ্ৰীষ্টান ধৰ্মলৈ গুচি গৈছিলে। তেখেতসকলক আৰু তেওঁলোকৰ মত সাপেক্ষে আৰু আমিও বহুত তেওঁলোকক কিছু নিজৰ জাতিৰ সম্পৰ্কে অৱগত কৰাৰ পিছত তেখেতসকলক সন্মান হ'ল যে আমি পুনৰ আকৌ তিৱা জাতিলৈকে আমি গুচি যাওঁ। সেই অনুসাৰে আজি সভাখন আহ্বান কৰিলোঁ। তেওঁলোকে সদল বলে গুচি আহিল আজি ৰজা ঘৰত আৰু তেখেতসকলে ভৱিষ্যতে খ্ৰীষ্টান ধৰ্মলৈকে নাযাওঁ বুলি আজি প্ৰতিশ্ৰুতি হ'ল। আৰু আমি সবকে কোনিবা কিবা ক'বও পাৰে আৰু আমাক কোনেও জোৰো কৰা নাই। আমি নিজৰ মনে নিজৰ ইচ্ছা মতে আমি সোমাইছোঁ আৰু কোনো আমাক জবৰদস্তিও কৰা নাই।
Moving on, Indian-American Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley has vowed that if voted to power, she'll cut every cent in foreign aid for countries like China, Pakistan and Iraq, which hate America, saying a strong America doesn't pay off the bad guys. The 51-year-old two-term governor of South Carolina and a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations formally launched her 2024 presidential bid earlier this month. Nikki Haley, who launched her bid on the 26th of February, commented that debt-laden Pakistan is in the pocket of China like Zimbabwe. This is soon after Pakistan's Finance Minister Ishaq Dar announced on the 24th of this month that State Bank of Pakistan received funds worth $700 million from the China Development Bank. Expressing her opinion on the Chinese dominance in nations in form of debt, Nikki Haley took to a microblogging website and wrote, Belarus in the pocket of Russia, Zimbabwe in the pocket of China, Pakistan in the pocket of China, cut all their aid.
The number one thing I would do is stop giving foreign aid to our enemies. We give $46 billion in foreign aid. You're basically talking about $1 billion going to Iraq, who's basically dealing with the Iranians who are saying death to America. You're giving $2 billion to Pakistan, who are harboring terrorists trying to kill our soldiers. You're giving $500 million to Zimbabwe, the most anti-American African country there is. You look at China. We're giving China money for the environment. Are you kidding? We shouldn't be giving them a single penny. When I am president, we will no longer give foreign aid to our enemies. We will stop that. We'll start being smart and we'll start being strong again.
So that's Nikki Haley. How does that augur well for Bharat? Or does that mean that increasingly you will have positions taken by leaders across the world against Pakistan for India? What are the dynamics of this? Professor Brahma Chalani and Anand Mittal with me. Namaste and Jai Hind. Thank you very, very much for joining us. I just quickly want to tell you, Professor Brahma Chalani, that report suggests that Haley is actually leading against President Joe Biden in a hypothetical match according to the latest opinion poll on Friday. But she trails badly against leading GOP candidate, that is former President Trump. So she's behind Trump and DeSantis internally among the Republicans, but she's more favorable than Joe Biden. Professor Brahma Chalani. But calling out Pakistan and China, how important is that?
Biden's popularity has been declining and declining. but Nikki Haley may still be a long shot to the presidency. Yet what she says makes a lot of sense. Trump reversed 45-year US policy of aiding China's rise. And with bipartisan support, he designated China as a strategic rival and threat. This was a major shift, a paradigm shift in America's China policy. And Trump also cut off security aid to Pakistan for not severing its ties with terrorist groups. But unfortunately, what has happened is that Biden has reversed the policy of his predecessor to keep Pakistan at arm's length. He has resumed America's coddling of Pakistan. He has resumed US aid to Pakistan. And no less significantly, Biden is pursuing a more conciliatory approach toward China. The issue for India is this, why is America unable to kick its habit of coddling Pakistan? The Biden administration not only has resumed aid flow to Pakistan, it helped Pakistan secure an IMF bailout. An IMF bailout in a way also bails out China, because more than 1/3 of Pakistan's external debt is to China. So when IMF bails out Pakistan, it's in a way bailing out the creditor, China. And on top of that, the Biden administration is modernizing Pakistan's F-16 fleet in order to make it more lethal against India. So all this doesn't make sense from a US strategic standpoint, given the fact that even in relation to India, which is a close partner of America, it doesn't make sense for the US to shore up Pakistan, to aid it even militarily and financially. And the Biden policy on China lacks clarity, it lacks clear goals. And all that is worrying for India, because India is placed in a very difficult regional environment.
Well, she's further added, Anand Mittal, we need to watch China, because I think they're going to see, we are going to see China make a move for Bagram Air Force Base. I think they're also making a move in Afghanistan and trying to use Pakistan to get stronger to go against India. So we have got a lot of issues. This is what she said. Anand.
Yes, I mean, I think as far as campaign rhetoric, I think it's good rhetoric. It will play well with the Republicans. I think Americans as a whole have always been skeptical of foreign aid, but that does not mean that Americans actually want to cut off foreign aid. And having served in the Senate, I just want to be a bit realistic about her campaign promises. Like I said, it's good red meat for the Republican Party. But I think once, even if she becomes president, the Senate requires 2/3 vote on treaty and foreign aid sort of programs, and so she will have to fight the appropriations and authorization bills that usually send foreign aid to these countries. And let's be real, China, Pakistan, and many other countries lobby the U.S. government for foreign aid, and I think that's, foreign aid is always a part of U.S. strategic foreign policy, and so on that side, I would want to put a little bit of cold water on this, heated campaign rhetoric. And Nikki Haley is also taking some heat from Republicans who are opposed to Ukrainian aid, while she is supporting the U.S. government and the Biden administration's programs in Ukraine. So I think it's a good triangulation on her part to make sure that the Republicans sort of support her. But then she also sort of is seen by many of the Trumpy Republicans as being too friendly or too much of a neocon, too much of an establishment Republican. But yes, I do think that China and Pakistan are making a play for the Democrats who are more friendly to them. And I think that is going to be an ongoing battle amongst the Republican and Democrat parties as the campaign heats up. But I think it's very unlikely that full aid to Pakistan or full aid to China will ever be cut off properly, because, as I said, all of these governments lobby lawmakers and lobby the Senate and the House, and so that is very, very hard to actually get done in the legislative sense.
I've got 90 seconds more, and Professor Brahmachalani, when she calls out China making a move for the Bagram Air Base, is India aware of this threat? Because we need to look beyond their whole rhetoric to what strategically could compromise our interests.
When the Taliban was in power earlier in the 90s, China enjoyed a close relationship with the Taliban regime. In fact, on the day 9/11 happened, there was a Chinese delegation in Kandahar, the Taliban's stronghold, signing 2 major deals with the Taliban regime. And now the Taliban are back in power. China is resuming its ties with the Taliban regime. It has signed a major minerals deal with that regime.
Yes.
And it's seeking greater access to certain strategic bases, including Bagram. Bagram would, of course, be the jewel in the crown. But it's seeking, for example, it has already persuaded Tajikistan to allow it to build a base on the Tajik-Afghan border. So any kind of access to an Afghan military base, especially to Bagram, would position China very strongly and would pose a major threat to India.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your inputs, Professor Brahmachalani and Anand Mittal. We'll continue to keep close tabs. It's a long way. The US presidential race only heats up. Vivek Ramaswamy is also thrown in his hat after Nikki Haley. With that, we call it a wrap on this edition of The Right Stand. Stay with us. Brass Tacks with Zaka right now.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been sent to 5 days of CBI custody. He was produced before the Rouse Avenue court in Delhi today. The CBI says they have ample proof against Sisodia for changing the excise policy, causing a loss to the exchequer and damaging evidence. The Aam Aadmi Party agitated today outside the Rouse Avenue court, but they were pushed back by the Delhi police. The party says this action reeks of pure political vendetta. But first, what happened in Sisodia's day in court?
Liquorgate scam accused number 1. Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia appearing in court a day after he was arrested by the CBI. After a heated 2-hour-long hearing in which the CBI argued that Sisodia had been evasive during questioning, the court granted the agency 5 days custody. Sisodia will remain in CBI custody till the 4th of March now. While Sisodia was in court, chaos erupted in the capital. Workers of the ruling Aam Aadmi Party gathered in large numbers at the party's headquarters. Some even sported handcuffs, claiming that fake cases were being filed against AAP leaders every day without any proof. They tried to march towards BJP's office, but came face to face with dozens of Rapid Action Force personnel and police who were deployed near AAP's office. Some AAP workers tried to breach police barricades and were promptly detained and dragged into buses.